Hello, friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise, swearsies, it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. Oh! Today we're jumping into r slash Legbeard Stories? I think it's r slash Legbeard Stories. This kind of started out as an r slash Neckbeard Stories, but now it's sort of shifting over. We started out with COUNSELORBEARD, but now we're getting some of the back characters filled in. If you missed out on the COUNSELORBEARD saga, that playlist down in the description. Now we are continuing with just the abominable person that is Athena. Apparently she's having an arranged marriage, which I don't know, sometimes it works out, but most often I don't think I can sign off on that. We are not back on Twitch quite yet, but tomorrow I will pull the trigger. I'll be up over there, so if you'd like to join me, that link is in the description. I am feeling a lot better after yesterday's wholesome meme video. Analytics didn't like it, but that doesn't matter because I did. So thank you guys if you watched it. We'll get some additional plugs and disclaimers out of the way, and then we will dive right into some of this r slash Legbeard Stories. Cringe. Athena's attempted arranged marriage. A Legbeard story, part 1. Oh, it said a Legbeard story right in the title. I guess I should have known. Great, cool, we nailed that one down. Hey, Achilles here. Welcome back, welcome back. Did you know that Kenneth Copeland, pastor of a megachurch here in the US, doesn't pay a $150,000 property tax on his $7 million, 1,800 square foot home in Texas? And that is completely legal. Under Texas law, pastors' homes are eligible for a 100% exemption on property taxes. Oh, I'm in the wrong business. Did you know that in the state of Ohio, houses owned by churches for church use are also exempt from property taxes? And they are not the only states with laws like this. Can we make ReddXism, Daytonism into a religion? I'd really like to never pay taxes. Any taxes, including property taxes. Thank you so much. We'll get that in the works. Welcome back to another tale from the Church of Nice Guys and Nice Girls. Yes. Today is an extra special story because for the first time, this will not be about the church camp. Oh no. We've graduated camp for today, although unfortunately we will be back at some point. This time, we'll be telling the story of my friend Athena and how her mother, the Legbeard in today's tale, attempted to destroy her engagement and arrange a marriage for her to an older man, all for that lust-worthy church clout, which I guess is pretty important if you're involved in a church. But good, okay, Athena's not the Legbeard, it's her mom, got it. For a little background, Athena is indeed the same Athena from the COUNSELORBEARD story, but you didn't have to read the story or listen to it via the YouTube channel, here's a link, in order to understand this story. But if you do want that background, I mean, it's right over there, links in the description, etc., etc. I'd appreciate the watch time. Let's get into our cast. Athena, early 20s, around 5'2", with long brown hair and green blue eyes. A bit on the chubbier side, with a bubbly personality. Lovely. Jason is Athena's fiance, around 6 foot, muscular / chubby, so like muscular but not a defined kind of muscular, with strawberry blonde curls and green eyes. Introverted, slight only child syndrome, but well-meaning, very much head over heels for Athena, which is the most important part. Also, in his early 20s, same birth year. Ilithia is Athena's younger sister, who was around 16 at this time. Very similar in appearance to Athena, though 5'6" and had a rounder face. Achilles, that's me, you're OP. Hephaestus, the minister, around 5'8" or 5'9", was a Lebanese man in his late 30s, quickly approaching his 40s. Yeah, I feel that one. Just around the corner for me too, man. If I do recall correctly, Hephaestus was the god of fire and overall a pretty good guy, so good. We don't have to keep eyes on that minister, maybe. Metis is our Legbeard in question, Athena and Ilithia's mother, in her late 50s, hair entirely gray and constantly pin straight, around 5'11". And I don't remember anything about Metis from mythology class, but all right. Thetis is my mother and Metis's co-worker, also 5'7" with curly black hair and near black eyes, late 40s at this time. And those are the players, so let's jump right in and see how the game plays out. All right, well, this story begins about a year after Jason and Athena started dating. For context, within the church, there was a strict dating/relationship policy, and not adhering to it meant serious consequences. Marriage wouldn't be performed or accepted as valid by the church, and excommunication was likely. The process is as follows. Step 1, group dates. Oh, you lost me already. Nope. The church regularly held singles outings that one would be required to attend if you were genuinely looking to be in a relationship. These outings, of course, were supervised, and the supervisors would make a note of who seemed to favor who. Oh, God. Every time we get in this saga, it's so creepy. Step 2 is supervised dating around. Before you were allowed to pair off with anyone, you had to go on supervised dates with multiple people. The supervisor was generally a lower-level priest on the church hierarchy who would notate how well the dates went. If you're wondering what it looks like, it's essentially like going out to a restaurant for a date, and the minister is just sitting at the next table over, watching. He's just sitting there, menacingly.
He's just standing there, menacingly.
Step 3 is supervised couples dates, which is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Same as step 2, but this time it's only ever with one person. If you decide that isn't working out, then you go back to step 1. But if you're enjoying the relationship so far, then you move on to step 4, marriage counseling. Boy, we moving fast, ain't we? Before the official engagement, the couple had to go through marriage counseling via the church to ensure that the couple were ready for a lifetime of commitment to the godly standards of religion. Divorce was not an option in the church without very extreme circumstances. Oh, so like the Philippines. Bet you didn't know that about the Philippines, huh? Even cheating was not generally considered grounds for divorce, quote, if it wasn't repetitive, end quote. As a result, the church took this step very seriously. I mean, I'm not a big fan of divorce by any means, but I'm also not a big fan of not being able to live the life that you want to live. Marriage is a binding contract and all that good stuff, but I also want you to make the decision to be with me. You wake up, you're like, do I still want to be here? Yeah, I do. Okay, then let's keep doing the thing. And if you ever decide that you don't, then, I mean, there's the door, you know? This doesn't seem to me like you're gaining a spouse. It seems to me like you're gaining a prisoner, and I'm not about that. Step 5 is engagement. After church approval, the couple could get engaged. Oh, thank you, church, for letting us do the thing that we should have been able to do. Step 6 is even more marriage counseling. Post-engagement counseling focused on more intimate expectations of marriage. Without going too deep into it, one of the church's beliefs was that it was a sin to deny your partner in bed. unless it was due to illness, fasting, or menstruation because, quote unquote, your body belongs to your spouse. F-U-N, fun, fun, fun. And this was just one belief that was discussed. Good Lord, that's uncomfortable. I'm gonna double down on my prisoner statement from earlier, okay? This is not good. Step 7 is then marriage. Oh, what a happy day. Not made at all creepy by the church being there and approving every step. Marriage was done through and by the church only at approved grounds. Oh, I couldn't handle it, man. Jason and Athena were at step 3 of this process, which, if you'll recall, is the supervised couples dates. And everyone in our friend group of young adults in the church knew that they were looking into starting step 4, that marriage counseling that happens before the engagement. Because you have to remember, there's even more marriage counseling after the engagement. And frankly, we all loved this for them. Jason and Athena melded well together. Athena ensured that Jason went out and made friends. I mean, if he had it his way, he'd do nothing but play Mario Kart and make pasta. Sounds like the life, honestly. Well, Jason ensured that Athena didn't overextend herself by trying to give too much of herself to others. His dry humor blended beautifully with her over-the-top exaggerations, and he had just enough muscle to carry her around like the princess that she feared she could never be since she wasn't skinny. Oh, that's so adorable, you guys. Opposites do attract. I'm a big proponent of that. We were all excited for the day that Athena would come to the church with a bright smile and a big, beautiful ring, and plans for a big, beautiful wedding. We had all known each other for years. I met Athena when she was around 14 and I was 12 or 13, and I had essentially known Jason for my entire life, with us meeting when we were practically toddlers. Throughout that time, I had watched them grow into some of the most amazing people and into the most beautiful couple. You know what you're doing here, OP. You're making me fall in love with this couple. I don't want to see them split up. I want to see them get there happily ever after. And then Legbeard mom comes in and tries to smash the whole thing. Ah! We aren't even to her yet, but the writing is so great, she's going to be hateable. I'm looking forward to this. So, of course, when the group was bubbling up about a future wedding coming soon, one of the first people I told about it was my mom. Jason was like a son to her, and she loved Athena, so I figured she'd be more than excited to hear about the high possibility of an engagement. Knowing her, it would get her started on inviting them to a homemade meal with all their favorite fixins, a bouquet of daffodils, which are Athena's favorite, and an early engagement present, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. My mom was really big on these kind of things. Your mom sounds like an angel too. I'm just loving this. There's only one rotten piece in this puzzle. But instead, on the evening I told her about it, sitting in the dimly lit office she had in the back of the house, my mom looked at me like I was crazy. "That's not what Mita said," she replied. "What?" I asked, genuinely confused. Midas was notoriously a bit of a helicopter parent. There was no way in hell that she did not know about this relationship. Jason and Athena went out all the time. But my mom just looked at me, even more confused. "Mita said that their relationship was fizzling out," she further explained. "She said that Athena was going to go on a date with Hephaestus." Oh boy. Are we just getting our wires crossed, or is she really trying to plan out Athena's life for her? Listen, Mom, you don't have to live it. You had your shot at all this stuff already. Now it's my turn to choose how it's gonna be. Hephaestus? Hephaestus was almost twice Athena's age, and while a very nice person, I couldn't see any reason as to why Athena would agree to go on a date with him. Hell, I couldn't see why he would want to go out on a date with somebody that he met when they were 14 and he was in his mid to late 20s. Big creep vibes right there. Why? I asked. I don't know, my mom said, but I'll find out. And I absolutely trusted her on that. You see, my dear readers and listeners, my mom has about 3 decades worth of journalism experience. Oh yes, applicable here. Having started her career when she was only 16 years old. Yes, my mom is awesome, and yes, you may applaud. Pause for that. If my mom wanted to investigate something, nothing could stop her. Not even Batman could get between her and a good story. Batman will probably help. He's something of an investigator himself, you know. Which leads me into the next important information, working at the church. So, the thing about the church is that it was more than just going to church to get preached at. They also printed books and magazines. They produced many videos, and they publish articles on like a dozen websites. Hell yeah, gotta get that propaganda flowing. All of this requires many teams of people dedicated to different aspects of media production and journalism. The church also had a legal team, landscaping, etc., all of which were employed entirely by church members. Only contractors could be non-members, but even then, the church highly favored contractors with church members in employment whenever possible. Keep it all in the family, or something like that. My mom was one of the managers in the editor's division of the journalism side of the writings, whereas Metis was one of the managers in the graphic arts division of the journalism side of the church. So functionally speaking, they were of the same status and often had to work together to make the best product possible. My mom, however, did not like Metis. Nobody here likes her. I know what's coming. We started off on the wrong foot, and I damn sure ain't even trying to put forward the right foot. Metis was passive-aggressive, didn't like being told when she was wrong, and if she didn't like someone on her team, she would make them quit by making their life a living hell. Yeah, that's passive-aggressive, all right. In fact, that last part was exactly why my mom hated her. There was a young man on Metis's team who was kind, but incredibly shy. He had only just moved to the state, barely knew his roommates, and was only around 22 or something, having never lived further than 10 miles from his family until he decided to work for the church. Oh man, that's so rough. And she didn't even try to make it work out for him. Ah, she's the worst. For whatever reason, Metis just kind of decided that she hated him. She gave him all the grunt work to finish at impossible deadlines, making it even worse by demanding him to do errands that frankly weren't even in his job description. Every job that was incomplete or not to her standards were put on his record, and she made a show of this, as the church believes that part of being a true man was being a hard worker for life. He would be regularly talked to by ministers regarding his poor work ethic. Jesus, dude. This is the worst job possible. Like, part of me hates that he had to go back home with the tail between his legs, but what's the alternative? He gets stuck in the church for 10 years? Only then to have the rug pulled out from under you after a decade? Nah, it's probably best that he found out that this wasn't for him early on, right? I guess that's what I'll tell myself. Metis tore him down so badly that he broke down and cried after about 5 months of dealing with her. And when he cried, she told him that he wasn't a real man and that he shouldn't be working for God if he couldn't handle it. Ugh. Toxic, toxic, toxic. Men can cry, it's fine. Can confirm men feel things too. Source? Just trust me, bro. Mind you, because of the church's beliefs about women being incompetent airheads who are supposed to be naturally submissive to men, no one in authority in the church believed that he was actually being bullied, and instead they just chalked it up to him being too sensitive and feminine. 3 months after this breakdown, he quit, which was then followed by him being temporarily excommunicated. He never came back, and for good reason, I would say. It's important to note that his roommates were church members, so chances were that when he was excommunicated, they completely ignored his existence until he just kind of left. Ugh. So, you might be wondering, how the hell did she even get away with that? And I have 2 words for you: church clout. Apparently it counts. I don't see how it counts in my life, but if you're involved in the church, it's everything. And to be specific, I don't mean like every church ever. I mean this specific one, okay? Midas's husband was a minister, and a higher ranking one at that. He was also one of the heads of the IT department, so not only did he have religious clout, but he also made bank and controlled a very large part of the workforce. Everything that the church put out in media, every YouTube video, every new website page, every URL and embedded link went through him, and he was rewarded handsomely for it. Yeah, here's where your donations is going, right? Next time they pass that plate around, I'm gonna pluck out a tenner. I need this more than you, okay? Another new website? Nah, it's fine. Remember what I said earlier about church property taxes? Yeah, well, the church had several clerical properties. About 2.5 streets worth of homes were on property owned by the church. And since they also functioned as spots for church ordinations and weddings, celebrations of life and baptisms, they were all property tax free. And part of me's like, damn, how could I get one of them houses? But you know I'd end up excommunicated within a couple of years, and then you gotta give up the whole house. It's not Karen taking the house of the kids, it's the church. These houses were all real nice, recently renovated, and regularly landscaped by underpaid church workers, usually teens and college students in the church. The houses were then assigned by the church, as ministers could be requested to fill in spots at other congregations at any time. Those with high enough church clout, it's a weird stat, those are the people that got to stay in these nice houses permanently. Midas's husband, due to the nature of his job, had that kind of church clout, and so their family lived in a beautiful, recently renovated white craftsman that was regularly landscaped for them on church property, and on top of that, they didn't pay a single red cent worth of property taxes. Oh, kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth, doesn't it? She's gotta get her comeuppance, I do know. Karma can't possibly hold out for that long. Church clout paid, and it paid well. So of course she would want the same for her daughter. I mean, who wouldn't? And of course you'd imagine how disappointed she was when she learned that her daughter's new beau not only had no interest in church clout, but also wanted to start a family in a whole other state. That's worth ruining an engagement for, right? Not at all. Like I said, you had your turn. You got to pick who you wanted to pick, and you decided to lean heavily into the church clout substat. But that's not how it's gonna be for Athena. No matter how hard you try to push and poke and prod her the way that you want her to go, all you're gonna do is drive her away. The best you can do now is put a smile on and say, good, I'm so happy for you. And at least try to actually mean it, although I don't think Midas is actually capable of feeling like real, actual happiness. Source, just trust me, bro. We'll see about all that in the next part. Oh, I wanted it all right now, but okay, we'll save some for later, that's fine. I'll try to get it out as soon as possible, however. I do have a very busy week ahead of me, so it'll most likely be 2 weeks before it's out. I hope this was enough to whet your taste buds because it's a bit shorter than I would like. Thanks for reading, Achilles. Oh, also, bonus content. Bam, bam, bam. You'll love to see that, honestly. But oh wait, there's more! Continuing on from the previous story, I'd like to answer some misconceptions, questions, and concerns raised about the church from ReddX's previous video on my story, The Science of Nice Girls. I do recall it, somewhat. Birthdays are sin! Yeah, my parents had no issue shipping me off to a summer camp during my birthday because the church vehemently hated birthdays and saw them as self-indulgent and sinful. Was that like Latter-day Saints or something like that? I've heard about that before, but yeah, kind of blows my mind meeting somebody who was in a church that actually just found birthdays repellent. I mean, I don't participate in birthday shenanigans very much. It's not for me, but I'm not gonna stop anybody else from doing it. Not gonna call them sinful or self-indulgent. They generally back this up by saying that birthdays are pagan. Citation needed. Source, just trust me, bro. And that every birthday in the Bible ended with somebody losing their head. What? Also, of course, the infamous verse where Jesus says it's better to celebrate one's death than their birth. So yeah, no birthdays for me. To this day, I still have never had a birthday party. To be fair though, because my parents shipped me off to camp, I generally had a more eventful birthday than others in the church. I am morbidly fascinated by that, but okay, everybody has a different experience. I take all this with a grain of salt. This is a thing that happens, I guess. 2, addressing the comments, no, this isn't the Mormon church, but that's a really good guess. This church was birthed around the same time as the Mormons and the Seventh-day Adventists, and as a result, they share a lot of similarities with both churches. The church is big, but it's not big enough to be in the common public consciousness. Yeah, that's probably why you felt brave enough to write about it, so I gotta be grateful for that, at the very least. And yeah, that takes the Latter-day Saints thing out of the equation as well, because they're not the Mormons, so I don't know what they are, nor should I try to figure it out. I'll just be grateful that OP's writing the stories. Addressing a very specific comment, yes, the church camp is still up and running. I want to highlight answering this comment because I believe it reflects a major issue in the United States. Unlike secular camps and boarding schools, in most, if not all states, authorities are not allowed to randomly check up on camps or boarding schools run by religious institutions. Ooh, I didn't know that. It's creepy. They must always call ahead. This is how and why abuse is so common in these spaces run by religious institutions. It's not the religion that is the issue. It's the fact that because it's religion, there are many more opportunities for exploitation and abuse due to the laxer laws. As seen by my church specifically, some institutions are just more likely to exploit this than others. It's also how the Southern Baptist Church can hold on to a list of predators in their own church for so very long. Big oof, that's what I got to say. Something needs to change. I'm not qualified to say what. Finally, Eurydice did not come back the next year, but it was because she couldn't. She was going to college on a sports scholarship and needed to be on campus for the summer. She did stay in the church for a few years before leaving and had a bit of a romance with Heracles before dumping him for being too clingy. This was not a relationship done through the church, but it was done in secret. Yeah, like most relationships, I guess. Who's actually submitting to these weird church rules? There's a priest sitting behind me at dinner. I can't blame her, for reals. Basically, Heracles could not handle being in a long-distance relationship, and got upset whenever she wouldn't immediately text him back. Ugh. Consider that a little teaser for the next story that I'll post about church camp where he is the nice guy. Yeah, I can see that one coming from a mile out. You just don't realize that people have their own lives, Heracles. But circling back to the main story, God, I am so hungry to know more about Metis. How indeed does all of this go down? Does it work? Is probably the most terrifying part of all. OP said they'd have the next part up in a couple of weeks. It's been a couple of months, so I don't know. Hopefully we'll see it when it pops up. You know, I'll hop on it. We've been following Counselor Beard for quite some time now, and I'll let you guys know. But I do hope that you enjoyed this episode, friends. If you did, I hope you'll like, comment, and or subscribe. I always appreciate that, you know. Maybe share the video around. That's pretty cool, too. We got all kinds of links in the description. Plugs, playlists, podcasts. You know what it is. Spotify, iTunes, Teespring. If you're trying to rock that merch, we didn't live stream it on Twitch, but I'll be back on there tomorrow. I'm pretty sure. So keep them eyes peeled. We got all kinds of other social medias as well. Twitter, Discord, Facebook. Oh, and I'd like to thank my gorgeous, wonderful, beautiful, generous channel members and Patreon patrons as I do every video. So thank you, Jerry, much too. A Tiny Boy, Amelia Hannon, Sean Cantwell, John Endors, Train Boy, That One Gay Cop, Valiant Crane, Shiza, Angel Dark, Bedazzled Misery, Skylar Rain, The Fez Wearer, Rosie Rainbow, Heaven Sent, Robert Thibodeau, Jackie McQuitty, Grim Strive, AJ Colin, Tooth Plushy, Corey Arts, Kelly Clark, Florentic Waver, Dungeon Bat, Billy D, Robert Waits, Brandon Ashcraft, Faith of Danica, Wargaming Steve, Skylar Morningstar, The Gypsy Barber, Fire Drake, Samantha, Death's Flagship, and buy two, get one hand. From Patreon, Gorius Maximus, oh, that's a new one. Holly Hohen, Robert Waits, Camille Sarah, Vixie, Ellipses, Captain Cloud, Jerry, Deku, Esteban, Wargaming Steve, Pete Tom, with Back Mouse, Down, with Jerry, Back for Forgiveness, he sure did. PCB, Santa Jerry, Silent Revolver, A Very Tired Jerry, Justy Jargonian Jerry, Aaron Jerry, and Frankenberry, Ain't That a Hot Bitch Though, Assassin Bug Jerry, Baby Jerry, Bailey Joy, Benji, and the Jets, Billy D, Bitch Gremlin, Blade the Hero, Bronze Kraken, Chance the Blue Kraken, oh, those two different Krakens right there. Commander JT, Comrade Moody, Destiny Piper, Dr. Larks, Jal, Aaron Error, Erratic Mechanic, Eastmars, Rose Over Studios, Fire Drake, Gizmo Jack, Adrian BR, Irish Pirate, Lust the Blue Marmalade of Mutiny, Iron Knowledge, AM Coon, Jerry Smith, Jerry Kisune, the original Jerry, Jerry Blacktail, Jerry Flips the Jerry, make my name longer so ReddX speeds up the Patreon list even more. It's gonna happen. Jerry the Outlaw Mother Trucker, Hong Kong, Jerry, I'm begging you, please don't take my being. Jukebox Jerry, Cage Alex 9, Kira, Krugy, Cuddly Kraken, Lady Italian Greyhound Dino, Lady in Awakening, Lauren Crow, Legit Maker, Lord Jerry, leader of the Thunder Jerrys, Luke X was a race car driver, he wasn't a friend of mine, never did win that chicken flag, but I helped drink his wine, like and subscribe. Milady Dix, Melgar, the Destroyer, Metal Factor, I'm here because my cringe senses are tingling. Yeah, it worked out today, huh? Miss Black, Needless King 89, not another Jerry, but he is though. Farrakhan Soul, Phantom of the Pines, Jerry Kins and Jerry Beth, Queen's Quaaludes and Quagmires, Ramtide, Lackermates, Redwin, Rose, Jerry Miller, Sarita the Lolita, Scarlet's Coven, Sergeant Gay Cop, Bringer of the Law, Silo Imp, 70 Gunner, Synaptic Boomstick, Brilliant Tomago, the Gypsy Barber, the Lilith Who, Trufusky, this isn't even my final beard. Tick Jerry, trying to find another ball to get back to the real world. Vanguard Angel, BC3, Viking Jerry, Vladimir Dragonov, Wiki Tag, Zephyr Gargoyle, or Clay, One Leg Jerry has returned from battle, a normal Jerry, alright, Red, for you, I bring Doritos, but I can't your expertise of their Drake Beards, Admiral T-Tank, Amber Alder, another stupid hipster, Atomic Jerry, Zella, Breaker of the Tom Army, Bad Penny Lane, Bartender Kelia, Big Dad Wolf, Broke Spine, Horseradish, Cake Jerry, that's a different Jerry, Cowabunga Jerry Girl, Carcass, Chicago Panda, Corey does commissions now, Cowabunga Jerry, Crypt Titties, Defon Jerry, Defter Tuna, Dilf Jerry, Dwarf Dude, Fedorable Jerry, just tip the lady, ooh woo. I always do. Get to at the Doodles commissions also open. Jerry Boo's daughter, Ghost of Alpha, Greymon 365, Half Slavic Jerry in a tracksuit. Eeknot, Hydra Jerry Solomon, Jace Christensen, Janitor Jerry's back from the abyss to clean up after the teenage beards. Good luck. Jeffrey, Geralt of Arabia, Jerry in the Grizz Machine, aka Roxanne Wolfsip Jerry, Jerry Boat 2 S's and E, that's Jesse, Jerry Springer, the results are in. You are not the neckbeard. Jerry the Sussy Baka, Jerry's mom has got it going on. Check out her mustache on Jerry Oldo Rivera, Jerry Roxers, Jerry Roleplay again, Kim Marvelous, Kitsakin, Machiacidi, maybe next time, Miss Duchess, Mr. Gasmas, not a Viper, not a Visible Angel, Raptor, Arc, Selden Dark, Snary, that's Snom, Jerry, Spoonie the Rogue, Spoopy, Scary, Jerry Ton, Techno Dubs, they call me Jerry Two Knives, Jerry Pie. Third stuff, this is purely a mercantile transaction. Yeah, that's pretty true. To Infinite Jerry and beyond. Tokyo Bird, Unkale, Vaughn, Venom Jerry, 2 Liter Mountain Dew, Grow by Neckbeard, Grow. It's Jerry time, holds ReddX Morpher. Hygiene, it's Jerry time, holds ReddX Morpher. Humility, and thank you to my $1 patrons as well. Bless up all the Jerrys and not Jerrys alike. Doing so much to help me get through this month. It's been a rough month, I'm gonna tell you that much. If you can join these people in supporting, that is huge. If you can't, don't sweat it too hard, friends. I just appreciate you coming on through, hanging out with me, and I hope that you'll come on back and hang out with me again tomorrow. In order to do so, you need to keep yourself safe out there. Wash your hands, but also take some time out and do something that you personally enjoy today. Maybe like watching some more ReddX videos. How about it? Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, friends, bye-bye.